Okay, so last week, one of the things I want you to remember, a guiding principle, is for every sound there's a gesture, and for every gesture there's a sound. And if you could make that connection all the time, you in front of the orchestra conducting should always bear that in mind. Even if unintentionally you do something, it's supposed to have a resulting effect in the answer. Come right in, Maya. Pull up chair next to PBA. Then, I do have an attendance register which I forgot to give you all yesterday in Music Ed, but I recorded that everybody was present for that class, except Naja, who wasn't there. All right, so, and that little quotation comes from that video that I was showing some people yesterday in Music Ed class from about eurythmics. There's a part in it, I don't know if we came across that yet. You all recall that phrase coming up? Probably not. But it happens a little later when he's talking about the philosophy of Dalcroze and eurythmics and so on. He says, for every sound there's a gesture, and for every gesture there's a sound. And if you recall, we did this last week, I think, when, imagine you're a pianist, you're going to play a loud chord, or you'll play, or if you're going to play violin, like this, and different parts of your body will be activated. And the preparation for that sound, the creation of that sound, is what the conductor is controlling. The anticipatory nature. Remember, we watched a video? So that's another key point. Conducting is an anticipatory art. That means that just standing up and, like you will see in Panorama, it's a very good dramatic effect and help the audience have fun. So the guy who's standing up in front of the band, is more for comic relief than conducting. Right? Yeah, it's to keep everybody seeing something, right? And they really practically choreographing the movement of the sound. Sometimes I'm thinking about Duvon's job because he's doing well good. You know, he'd have a real fancy part coming. He'd have a nice part in this arrangement Mr. Neezy did, where it started to play the different lines in the band, and he just stand up so while they're playing it. And it does reflect, in fact, it is a kind of like almost a classical part of the arrangement, where you could kind of follow the lines in a very intellectual way, although you have set a rhythm thing going on, right? But it was interesting that he did it like that. And then that would have an effect on the audience. For me, for sure, I was listening more than before to the detail. And then, of course, other things. So the conductor has an impact on the people playing as well as the audience. Communicates what's happening in the music. And that helps people to understand what's going on too. So remember that, right? And remember when you are conducting and some, especially, well, I'll get into more details about that, but when you are called upon to do conducting anything, you want to be aware that you should be impacting and communicating and evoking sound. I like that word. You are responsible for evoking sound from the, you have to play the orchestra like one instrument, right? And to bring out the tenors, and to bring out the bass, and to bring out the whoever, right? I'll tell somebody. It comes just like a pianist playing, and they have to play the right hand louder than the left hand, and they'll be doing this, right? And doing upset and controlling this part. A lot of effective conductors are pretty good pianists, and that kind of thing. Anybody seen the movie Maestro? I want to see it too bad. It's a movie, it's now nominated for Academy Awards and so on, so it's a current movie. It's about Leonard Bernstein. That's right. And it's amazing how he changed his whole appearance to look like Leonard Bernstein. If you don't look at him closely, you wouldn't even realize it's Bradley Cooper. But Leonard Bernstein is one of the most famous American conductors and composers. You know some stuff he composed? Nope, that's George Gershwin. But Leonard Bernstein, West Side Story, big musical, right? That's his most famous work. And it's had many iterations and adaptations and so on. But he wrote a lot of other cool pieces along the way too. Again, I'm getting sidetracked, but there's a real nice story about him and his debut in New York conducting the New York Philharmonic. The conductor, the principal conductor for the evening, couldn't conduct for whatever reasons. I don't know if he got sick or whatever. He was the substitute. He was the alternate. Usually don't have anything to do, right? He might probably do rehearsals or something sometimes, but he wasn't supposed to conduct. He was kind of young too. So he got this big break because the main guy couldn't perform. And that was it. After that night, he was the conductor, right? And his signature thing, as one of the videos mentioned, you all remember? Said Leonard Bernstein was very gymnastic or acrobatic, aerobic or whatever was the word, one of those words, on conducting. And then compared to that, you had von Karajan, who was like this, doing something that I won't want you to do, which is hardly looking at the orchestra. And he's conducting mainly with his hands and just holding the music like a baby inside here. But it's to have that contrast. Leonard Bernstein was jumping up and down and just this crazy caricature of a conductor you could imagine. Zipporah, you could pull a chair right between Maya and Phoebe, right? And then one of the most, when he came to America, was to conduct in Hollywood. Arturo Toscanini. And gosh, I tell the girl where to sit down, Naja, move she. My God. So long. All right, so I need to, right, you're good there, right. Elijah, I think Naja wanted Zipporah to sit down next to her, you know. So, Elijah, but with you at all, you know. You didn't have to move it. I was just finding this very humorous. That's good, that's good. Excellent solution there, Elijah. Hey, I say he was going to sit down right there. Anyway. I want to see how AI is going to summarize this meeting. By the way, for those who came late, I'm trying to record stuff so that the people who come late from Calypso Band arranging wouldn't miss out, and I would remember what I covered and so on. Also, I need to document these things so that I could put little videos on my learning, which I started doing, and so on. What I was saying, Arturo Toscanini, he came from Europe, and he was famous, I don't know if you all know that, Fantasia, the cartoon where you have Sorcerer's Apprentice. Well, he was the conductor for that. But he was always conducting in a frame like this, and the textbook kind of thing, always inside there. And looking at his expression hardly changing, but real intense. Intense. If you see him conduct William Tell Overture. Right? That's how we move. And intense, staring down everybody. You had to play the, better play the damn that is how he seems to be looking, right? Real intense. But he was very famous. He was probably the first big conductor to be incorporated in Hollywood and so on in America. So, what am I talking about? We were talking about gesture and stuff like that, and I guess I tracked. All right, coming back. Um, the reason why I have the pan here is one of the things I wanted to cover in this hour to hour and a half before the others join us is basic pan playing technique. So, some of you may already know how to play pan, right? Some of you may have taught other people to play pan, and hopefully you have some insights of real interesting ways to describe to a beginner how to play a pan. And this is the beginning of pan playing technique. How are you going to hold the stick? Japora. How you explain that to a beginner? You ever had to do that?
No, I never had to do that.
Let me give her a chance to come up with something. Yeah, before you come in. Imagine. So now what you should be thinking, okay, what you do and how you'll explain to somebody you do it, right? Good.
I want to see if I could compare to something you would hold, like something.
Good idea.
So,
Theory of meaningful reception. Yeah. You take something familiar, a context, and which one is that? Correlative learning.
like if
Somebody help her. What you hold like that? Like a steering wheel, maybe. Go with it, go with it. Phoebe say no. Go with it. Steering wheel, go ahead.
Okay, hold on, let's skip the rope.
A skipping rope.
a skipping rope here.
All right, good, good. Okay, fine. Go ahead.
So you're gonna hold this.
I never hold a skip. No, just kidding. Imagine kids don't skip again, you know. Yeah, they don't skip.
Never had to teach a child to play pan, so I really don't know how to explain.
Okay, Naja.
When I'm
But I like that idea, skipping rope idea.
when I'm explaining to my students, I say, imagine you hold something really stinky.
Ah! Oh my gosh. First time I heard that one. Okay, so I got carried away with this stinky part. Say that again.
I say, imagine you hold something stinky, the measures pointing in towards you. You hold it away from you, you put it up, and bring it in.
No, the way you demonstrated it though, you did this, right? So there's a kind of straightness to the fingers and they follow that, okay. But I like how you change the grip as you brought it in and curl more, because that's important. I used to always be okay with doing this. So you take the stick in one hand, you open the palm of the other, you rest it down. Yeah, getting that on the camera. Wait, confirm your speaking language. Oh gosh, it's English. Right. Zoom, AI, smart intelligence. So you lay, sorry, you lay the stick on the palm of your hand. Just lay down and then curl it on, right? And it's as easy as that. However, some little kids and any age group holding the stick hard like that. And to get them not to do it, I repeatedly try to get them to relax and do that, right? Some other people had some really interesting ideas, which I can't remember right now. That's why I have to document these things. The stinky one is a new one. So, getting beyond that, you're holding that, and let's say now you're going to strike a note. I have to turn this way so Maya could see it as well. Okay. I have to come back to Zipporah and Naja because anybody taught anybody to play pan before? Or have you played pan? You've taught? Okay, I'm coming to you, Maya. How would you describe to somebody to strike C and make it sound? One note.
Of course, you have to know what note you're going to strike.
Right, good.
And then you just, as you
loose wrist.
You rub your stick onto the note with some purpose.
What else I have to do? To bounce it off, right? Bounce it off, because that's another common error. Especially if they play piano, because when they play piano, you keep your finger down, right? So then I have to tell them how would you, another way I tell them is to imagine you ringing a bell. So it's like making a little bell-like sound. Every note is a bell. Where on the note you're going to strike? Middle. Is it the geometric middle? The fattest part. That's the first time I heard that one too. But the highest point, like a peak, if you pass your hand over it, you'll feel a bump. This isn't always the case though. It depends on the tuner and the pan too. Sometimes it might be a little off that thing, but close to the peak of that note. And what you realize, that area that creates the best sound, the peak, or if you want to call it center, changes, because here all this could be that center but not there, right? But when you get to the smaller notes, that center, the size of the center changes, right? So if you think of this as being, I don't know, bigger than a 5-cent piece, but here is probably a 5-cent piece and here is a 10-cent piece, right? If you want, you could draw circles on the note for little kids to see exactly where to hit. How do you roll? How would you describe rolling a note? How would you describe that? Phoebe, imagine you're going to play pan for the, well, teach a student pan for the first time. Let's imagine it's an adult and they could, you could give them some big words and they'll understand.
I will ask them to imagine that they have the two hands passing the leg constantly. So take the sticks and create that motion on one.
Very logical and a nice link, meaningful reception, patting your legs. When you did that, I was thinking I go from rolling a drum to that. Yeah, I never did that actually, but that's a good one, especially for little kids. That could be the preparation for them rolling. And if you didn't do that, somebody else, that was a good one. How might you describe effective rolling? Percussionists should have a good idea about this too. You know, start. Alternating, I like to use the word alternating. Young kids, I'll say, okay, explain what alternating means. But yes, switching, I like switching from, right, evenly, and in a
Well, you can think of it like a march, like
left, right.
left, right.
Except that the marching thing suggests a kind of stiffness that they try to discourage. So I would go with just alternate. As another point, you want to have very relaxed wrists, right? And show them that. And you will see a lot of people doing this, especially people who don't play pan for panorama or even playing panorama for years. They're doing this. I like making me face it. They're just doing this. Right? They're rolling with their whole elbow here stiff. And they play loud, they think that they have to press hard. And it's hard to keep one side even to the other. So what they have to do, if you have somebody like that, how do you get them to roll evenly? A nice roll. Slow down. Okay, cool. What else?
So every naturally a stiff person, so you can ask them to rest your sticks down for a moment and just like shake yourself and yes,
Nice.
and then try it again to see if it will go easy.
All that is firmly sounded in founded in stuff like eurythmics, getting away from the instrument and feeling, because you see that relaxing thing? Adults have the hardest time with that, right? Because they get all this tension in there. And it's very important to get a relaxed wrist, right? And then when you want to get louder, being able to without tension, right? Instead of doing difference in tone. How loud to play the note? How do you explain that? How loud? I like that because you personalize, you kind of, what's the word? You make it a personification of the band. But I say, imagine it's a pet. I did that just this weekend because the dog barked at them, so I had a dog in mind. But I do tell them this sometimes. Imagine you're going to, you want your dog to come to you, right? You're not going to hit it hard. You're going to stroke it and be nice to it, and then it'll come to you. The pan will come to you too if you do that. Little boy said, but how the pan coming to me? I said, the pan will want to make nice, lovely music with you if you treat it lovingly. I remember there was a scouting battalion person who did a pan solo. I don't know if any of you happen to see. It was a few years ago. Probably when who watching, I'm not scouting battalion for years and years, right? So I don't know, this was a real long time. Okay. But this panist came to play a piece and they had a little skit, they call it, old time word, right? A little, they dramatize talking to the pan and say, okay, pan, we're going to have a little time together. And they had this whole little discussion about, playing music and whatever. Then he went into the song. That was kind of nice. But, so we got into actually holding the stick, playing. I might have forgotten some steps along the way, rolling. Now, moving from note to note. Let's say rolling from note to note. So you go from here. How do you describe that? Because you want to roll smoothly and you don't want to, usually what people do is this. You get to do it rough too, it's on bad, right? Whatever, you can't even do it like that. So how do you describe rolling connectedly, smoothly? And why you want to roll smoothly? Because you're imitating some music that might be very smooth, like a voice. It doesn't have to be classical music string, but it's trying to play, I don't know, can't think of an nice one. Right? And you play. So how would you describe that? Elijah, you could use the imagination. This is what I'm doing. Describe this for me. The beginner. All right, I like that, yes. In the sense that, all right, the anticipation thing, I'm glad you picked up that, but I was anticipating it. I kind of, maybe I shouldn't, but if it's trying to make it lyrical, yes. But if the music doesn't call for crescendos in between and you have to keep it flat, you could still do it. But the movement starts from the upper body, pulling, I pull the stick to the next note. So it's not like you're doing this and then you're going. And that disconnection from where the note is and so on, all that is how to forget one important thing. How to stand and play the pan. student, it was yesterday, yeah, Tuesday I think, stand up like this. And it's not a beginner pants. What to tell them? Okay. You can't see that. Sorry, but the foot pointing out this way, and then we had a little discussion. So why are you pointing out your foot like that? Right? Not very balanced, but she has a history of doing ballet, and what they call that when you're doing these things. So what they call period? Yes, I think so. Right, so right, PA. So she was standing up like, amazing, eh? You learn ballet and you learn to stand up ballet. Oh my gosh. Because normally you will stand up with your feet almost pointed. It doesn't have to be exactly. But you're going to start with some stability. If singing, you sing. So just like a singer, you want to have a good support, right? You want to balance your weight. Your feet should be in line with your shoulders. One foot slide in front of the other, left or right. Right? She was standing up like this too at one time. Straight. So slightly bent knees. Right. And then if your feet close together, what's the problem with that? Boom, you don't have control, you could fall down easy. So you want balance. I like to think of them as trying to be like a boxer in a ring, right? Ready to move back and forth. Yeah. When you go on that side of the pan. So when you're going to play from here, then you could move forward. Maybe not so much, I'm exaggerating. But when you're playing pan or panorama, nobody's standing up still. And in the dancing and the movement, you get around easier. And then you come to play for pan solo thing, and everybody stand up like this. Stiff here, right? Locked knees should be unlocked, right? So you get that buoyancy, mobility. So that's important. Where was I? We were rolling, going from one note to the next, the anticipation. What else about that rolling smoothly from one note to the next? Go ahead.
You have to pay attention to like the dynamics of how you play it. So like if you want to start the next someone too loud.
Right.
So to get a smooth finish, they keep the same control.
Yeah, well, yeah, so, oh no, finish your sentence, sorry.
To get the smooth
Transition,
you play the same volume.
Volume into the next. Well, I was doing something a little different, which somebody picked up, I think. So I was doing a little crescendo, yeah. And singers, if you're going from one note and you're leaping to another note, you prepare for it. I mean, unless you're called not to. But you're not going to usually sing like, ah, and then choke there, because you have to change something. Ah. So there's a nice approach there. So you're going to approach note from it and treat it like. And that is something I learned from Mr. Headley, Harold Headley, who was my mentor. He taught me pan since I was 10 years old. You know him, right? Anybody else knows him? Okay. Yeah. So that was another thing, right? And there would be a little imperceptible move preparation into the other note, especially if it's a nice line, because singers do that. You may not realize it, but they're not going jaggedly from there. What else? From the note, okay. So you mean in height or length? The height. So again, like playing snare drum real good or whatever, if you go too high, you're going to get a lot of harshness. But you could change the height depending on what you want to get. If you want to play quietly, start real close. Oh, we were talking about loudness too. So one little exercise for young children, because they like to bang. Say, okay, get louder, get louder. Say, okay. You won't do that again, right? Because there's a certain point in time where you started to hear the overtones of the metal, right? The metal galvanizing kind of sound. It doesn't sound so musical anymore. So you're going to do it again, and as soon as they hear that transition, that's your peak. Because they need to know their limitations. Just like they like to test teachers to see how far much they can get away with. So you're playing this. Tell me when to stop. Zipporah's here already. But maybe that could, a little more could have gone, yeah. But it's hard for me to play too hard. But it's easier to get it too loud than that. But kids will surprise you, right? Banga, 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 banga. Boy, I cringe when I have a little kid to play the band for the first time. And nice band. I know they're going to give it a good bang. I say, ah, 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 ah. And then I will have to go and even put my hand over the stick and then keep it low, right? Some of them really just over exuberant. And then if you have a ADHD leaning student, you have to be really patient with that. Where was I? Another thing about rolling evenly that it seems kind of obvious, so nobody mentioned it. Could lead with one hand, sure, that's kind of obvious, right? Another real obvious thing, teachers ask a question and they want a particular answer, I fall into that trap. Right, yes, you could lead with the many answers, I guess, but you could practice having a measured roll first, a real nice exercise for teaching young people or adults, anybody, because I do it even with university students who come from abroad. Everybody knows Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star. So we're playing. Starting with the left hand. So that's a nice little exercise, alternating evenly, measured rolls with a little rest in between. And if you have it going through for 8 strokes per note, you have. So you're not missing a beat. And when you go to an unmeasured roll, which is what percussionists call it, you try not to miss a stroke as you shift, because you want to connect. So however fast you do it, and you don't have to go too fast, you just have to go as fast enough so that the resonance of the pan connects to the other note. I missed a beat there. So I used to go around the house doing this. Right? And you could do that over a long distance. You have to do it on bass sometimes because you have to go through and I remember the first time when I was maybe 6 years old, getting a bass pan stick in my yard after carnival. Boy, I play with that bass stick for months or weeks. I don't know how long. I was too young. But doing that kind of thing, right? And so you're connecting, you're not missing a beat. Oh, chords or dyads, 2 notes at a time, dyads, 3 notes, triads. How do you roll? Well, play first. Let's say what's the difficulty? This is a little more advanced technique. Little kids, I wouldn't be giving them double notes for a while, but eventually, it's strumming, they have to do stuff on the double second or whatever. get the balance between those two notes. So one note is smaller, one note is bigger. If you're hitting both of them with the same force, the lower note is going to stick out, and you want to balance that in tone. So the higher notes, especially if it's a high thing like this, maybe, have more energy in one hand than the other. Especially the notes on the outside are louder than inside. Let's say you have to roll now. Same kind of thing, except a cool thing that I discovered. Somebody must have thought of it like this, but I like to share this. So you're rolling right in front of you. It's easy on one note, right? As you go to another note. But when you shift to different parts of the pan, your center changes. And that's a challenge. What angle, how you distribute the weight from one side to the other. But the principle is the same. On this side, right here, the easy one, easy to balance the weight between the left and the right. It's like if you have an invisible pivot or fulcrum through the center of your spine, and this side balances with that side, like a pendulum, right? Or a swing. All right, so you want to be aware that this side is going up, that side is going down. And this will help with a sense of evenness. So it isn't about on the pan just mindlessly playing this thing and hoping this will stay in time, and then some people go in slow with this hand and the other. You want to develop at a slow tempo that balance between. So it's an awareness and a big movements. Some people like to describe rolling evenly, where you go on like this, and you could practice this on a tabletop. Notice I wasn't doing this. If I'm playing a small note, see this, right? So, want to hit that dime or that 10-cent piece there, right? So, how am I going to do that? You see the little traced shape of the stick in the air? It looks like what? What letter is it look like? A V. So I can't do it evenly. It's like a nice symmetrical V, one side going a little straighter than the other, but they both aiming for the very same spot. That's how you're going to get the tone even. Or else, if you don't do that, you'll get something like this. One hand off the note practically, and you get a bad tone. If you could angle it in, get an even ring with both sticks. But coming back to the problem of getting, and you know, a lot of people don't roll evenly because they don't have this sense of balance. So you're going to roll a note between this note, two notes far, or maybe over here, let's say. You find that angle for the center or the fulcrum has shifted, and you reposition yourself and be aware that both sides coming evenly, even though one hand arm might be in a different shape to the other. Nice little exercise, I think, for this. Is to do this, rolling C and then moving the hands out like this. Wrote a nice composition with that kind of thing, but not rolling so much, but using that pattern. And different chords have different angles. There I'm rolling high D with a G. And depending on those kinds of things in more advanced pieces, you have to get the balance between the high and the low. There was something else I was thinking about as I was doing that. Oh! Well, no, I did that. Can't think of anything else. Anybody could think of anything else? You have 3-stick, playing with 3-stick and 4-stick, I ain't going there. Alright? That is a whole different thing, how to grip it and so on, right? Any of you percussionists know how to grip 4-stick? Some people hold it between these 2 fingers and these 2 fingers, so this could go like that and that could go like that. I myself don't have done much of that. The height of the pan, good point. Do you think this pan is too high where it is for me? I think so, actually. I just didn't adjust it. You see, really, just like piano or ergonomically for a computer, your hand should be at a nice height where there's a little angle here. If you're sitting at a piano playing, the best position for that hand to rest is with a slightly obtuse angle at the elbow. Right? So you have this, your weight is coming down, you can use gravity effectively. If it's here, you kind of stuck up here, there's more tension in there, and if it's too far, it's too far. So there's a little range there. And right now, while I prefer it a little lower for me. It depends too on the different people, doesn't mean the different heights of people, but the length of this part, the upper arm, might be shorter than mine, or in proportion, and it all depends on that. Some people get very comfortable playing like this. I don't know how they do it, but I have one student who does that, and I try to negotiate with him to adjust a little bit, but he's comfortable there. All right, well, whatever. So long as you play the music the way it should be played and it doesn't compromise anything else, that's okay. So, distance away from the pan too. Common error with little kids, especially if the pan hanging a little too, sometimes you get a pan that's hanging like this. And so for them to play, they lean up on the pan like that. So, this, nope, not good. You're away. When you want to play the side, lean forward, step forward, because it's a distance from here. For little children, that's quite a distance. What else? Anything else? Basic pan playing technique. Getting louder and softer depends on how we. The rolling thing, I know when somebody could roll good when they could do stuff like this. And still stay relaxed. And you don't get tired doing this. And you can control it just like a singer controls vibrato. Because, anyway, you know some pieces they have a long, long roll. They're playing maybe with a band and they're playing long note roll. They have that like in Air by Bach. You know that tune, right? How the beginners go on? It starts with a G. It's in our books which you will get. Ba-da-dee-da-dee-da-da-da-da. It's really for strings. So the string keep on going. More pressure, more speed on the bow, and then you have to be able to do that on the pan. That is the beauty of playing classical music on the pan. And that's why a lot of the panists over the years always welcome the challenge of playing classical music on the pan. Because it meant that the technique had to improve. It wasn't just about hitting the notes at the right time, at the right place, and not doing all that rolling and stuff like that. It builds that ability to mesh and mix and compete and compare with other instruments. Why is that important, you might ask? We could go into a whole anthropological musicology discussion about that. But my position is we could use this instrument to play any kind of music. And I think I was going to say we owe it to ourselves to explore as much as possible. We don't owe anything to anybody or to ourselves. I just find it the most exciting thing to play everything that you could possibly do. Why not? Why restrict ourselves? Hey, if you could do it, and do it real good, and do as many as you could do. That's be creative, right? So creativity is about expressing yourself in any way you can. And that's what music should be. I'll pause this. So, going over the prep, downbeat, release exercise, which we'll be conducting. First exercise with prep, using that wrist flick. I'm doing it with both hands, so you could choose which hand you want to do it, left or right, but you could also do it with both hands. Get ready. And we're doing the wrist flick to start, breathing 3, 4. So the prep begins on 4 to go to 1. 1, 2, 3, 1. That's your prep down. We're going to do a release on beat 2. So you're going to go 1, follow me, 3, 1, 2, 3, down and off. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. The release is starting at 1 and finishing on 2. I don't want you to do this one, which you see a lot, and some people find it looks cool, doing this, and then, right, like, or scissors cut kind of thing. We're trying, the general concept or the principle is they want to prepare people. You know, that whole anticipatory art, I don't know if you came after we talked about that. That's a point we made, came across last week, and I want to reinforce. Conducting is an anticipatory art form. You anticipate everything that has to happen so that people can do it at the right time. You breathe before you sing. You prepare a motion before you actually execute. You pull a chair there. Alright, so go ahead.
I'm seeing myself, I don't know where the camera's coming from.
On the laptop. Right. So let's imagine, as we did last week, that we're going to conduct something, and you're all going to follow me. We're going to have the orchestra play. It's not next to the light in the back there. Right, we're going to do that coming to the end of the symphony number 9, then everybody's in unison, full orchestra, full choir going, right, so we full force, tutti, right, orchestra, mass sound, so big sound, ready? There we go. Imagine that sound, and you're going to have to prepare that sound. Whatever gesture is your prep has to show me that bigness before the actual first note. And we're going to sing it. That's the starting note. Okay, here we go. 1, 2, 3. Notice, relax. Notice I didn't have every beat the same way. That's the arrhythmia thing we talked about last week, and we'll talk about it again for those who didn't come. Rhythmics and arrhythmia has to do with good movement. How you move from note to note, chord to chord, beat to beat. It's not about conducting. Ah, da, dee, da, da. And everybody's singing rice and say, okay, good, you're keeping everybody in time, sure. But you're not conducting them. You're not telling them how to sing first note or the second. Everything changes in the context of the phrase, in context of the beat, of the bar. Ha, da, dee, da, 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 dee. Notice all that prep I did for the next downbeat. And the group follows that. So I want you to get passionate and huge with this piece, okay? Let me see how huge you could get. There we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Ha, da, dee, da, ya, da. And you're so happy because this is ode to joy, yes? Ha, ya, da, da. All right. So there's something called physiognomy. Physiognomy has to do with your facial expression, your body language, everything that goes into getting the orchestral group to perform with the mood you want. What you're trying to communicate. It's not ah da dee da da dee da everything. Right? So your physiognomy plays a part. And other people may have difficulty with this. We're not accustomed getting theatrical or dramatic. But you have to get into the drama of it. Let's change the mood. Something sad. What? Ave Maria, okay. Which one? Schubert or the Bach or the Cassie or the... How many of them? Right? So it has one note and then an arpeggio, right? So you could either keep that note or you could do the arpeggio. But you can just imagine the mood, right? Yeah, I like that mood. It's a really profound one, right? Here we go. And it's Beethoven again. All right. We'll go for another composer next time. So, this is not piano because mostly you wouldn't conduct a pianist. So it's an adapted score from the piano for there you go. Get ready. Think about the mood. We all know this piece, I think. No? Let me play it. It's hard to. What did it? Oh. Okay. Let's imagine that we're now going to start, right? First chord coming at the beginning of this phrase. Here we go. Ready? Prep. Oh, it's too late. Sorry. Okay. We go in again. But I don't want you to start now. I want you to start at the beginning of when he starts with right? So all this, get prepared, get in the mood. Now see it again. Notice the things I'm doing before the plays. That's because I know it, right? If you don't know it, it doesn't help. But sometimes I'm subdividing to prepare something else. everybody will do it differently. Nice cadence coming in. I felt the need to move more. Just that one. Nice hold back there. Echo now. This next nice middle part coming up with these diminished chords, I think. Caught me there. Is it louder? Getting more intense. I should have been going up like this. Any hand will do it no favors. So just come back to the A section, right? Where there's some little changes. Let's see how we could anticipate the dying down and the echoing in the end. Missed that one. Change the mode, modality. Should I go on to the end? Oh, it has some nice bass entrances. So you could cue the bass. Ready, Elijah? Elijah. That's what you have to do as a conductor, is calling them to come in. Right? Now it's dying down. Smaller chords coming up. All right. So physiognomy is important there. But before that, I was getting into the subdivided beat pattern. Yes.
Apart from these measurement process, the right hand was straight and the base was just dropping, right? And it was at the stop conducting to the left hand, and you were just swinging it to the right.
I think I was just distracted at that time. I was thinking about how much longer I was going to do this thing. So I just stopped. It wasn't intended.
Oh, okay. I thought you would have like let's continue to the right and then just come in.
You don't have to be conducting with the left hand all the time, but at that point in time, I was just distracted. Yeah. So we were doing the subdivided 4, for those of you who came in late, right? I think you saw that, the subdivided 4. So you're going to go down, out, in, across, further in, or tail. Why I say in rather than out depends if it's left or right. If his left hand is down, out, in, out, further out, in, and up. So the same words will be using. I'll do it mirrored, okay? Down, out, in, further out, way out, in, and up. Okay? So that's subdivided 4. Okay? And then how are we going to do that in 12 beat, where you have 3 in each beat? Same principle. There are other ways, and there are several different ways to do it, but we'll just learn that basic one. So you're keeping the 1, 2, 3, 4, but now you're going to go 1, out, in, further in, out, further out, in, up. So that counts 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. After each of it, you do the rebound. You keep it flowing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. A better way to think of it though is 1, 2, 3, and 4. So 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and up. All these are in the handbook and what you will get. Let's do the trickiest out of 2, 3, and 4 is 3. 3 pattern. Alright? 1, 2. This trips up people all the time. When they start to conduct, they easily shift into 2 or 4, usually 4. 1, especially when they have to do cues or start on a different beat other than 1. So you have to get used to going down, out, up. And I don't subscribe to doing the triangle thing, which is, 1, 2, 3, down, where, yes, you could do that sometimes, if you right-handed, this kind of thing, very rectangular, geometric. I like to do 1. So there's a little more loopy at the ictus there. So it's kind of coming in a little bit. 1, 2, 3. It's more smooth, it's more elegant and more symmetrical rather than a one-sided, this part of the body alone doing triple and this part engaged. Alright, so play with it, you have to get comfortable with it. Let's mirror 3 pattern. You could use one hand if you wish. Ready? And 1, 2, 3, down, out, up, down, out, up. Now if you're dividing that into 2, it'll be not the out, out like it 1, 2, 3, 4, because your 2 pattern is out. So your first and subdivisions of 1 have to be the opposite direction. So you're going 1, in, out, in, up. 1 and 2 and 3, and. So the general principle is the subdivided pattern is in the opposite direction of the beat that is coming. Right? Now that will take a little while to sink in, but you have to practice it. If you have to do 9/8, it's the same thing in divided in 3. So down, in, out, 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 up. Was that too many? Down, in. That's right. And then up. 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, or 1 and 2 and 3 and ah. Okay, that's what I wanted to cover in terms of all the basic conducting pattern things for today. Prep, downbeat, release, I went through a couple times. We did a review of what we did last week, and which is what we'll do that we're going to play. So remember, this is the wrist flick to start with prep, breathing as well. So 1, 2, 3, prep with a breath, and then down beat, and then you're cutting on the second beat. That's a basic exercise. Yeah. So this is something you will be assessed on to be able to execute this for at least 9 bars or 7 to 9 bars. Ready? And 1, 2, pause, and 1, 2. So the pause is in the rest, and then you have to get everybody to start and play the downbeat together by doing a clear prep. Ready? 2, 3, prep. Pause. 2, 3, prep. You can do it with one hand if you wish. Okay, let's do practice with the one hand, whichever hand. 1, 2, 3, prep. Downbeat. Try to, I couldn't talk and breathe at the same time. I have to breathe on the prep or do a movement like a breath. You know, you could do this. Just this little upper body lift and come up. And if you breathe, it makes it easy. So, we're going to get behind the pans. Last time, if you wished, I would want us to kind of settle on a particular pan. For except those people who are experienced playing different pans, cool, you'll be able to move around. But if you could read scores and play whatever pan, and you can move around as needed, fine. All right, but I'd really like to have 2 basses, which we have, at least 2 guitars, that's 4, at least 3 tenors, that's 7, and then we have 3 other people. So the 3 people will be split between double second, double tenor, and it doesn't have to be double tenor, it could just be double second. It's just that the double second sometimes we'll be playing the double tenor part in some scores. But basically they have the same range, except for 1 or 2 notes. And if you're comfortable with double second and not double tenor, go with the double second. Sapporo, you could play either one. Jawan? Tenor?
He was playing tenor last
You're
week.
playing
I don't know
tenor?
why, but he's a master double second.
I know. Yeah. But you don't have to play the pan you're strong at, that's fine, and you could move around. In fact, the panists will have to move around, people who are custom, depending on what is needed, okay? So you will be practicing your sight reading if you can. So we have to feel our way to see what our group of students, what the dynamics are, because it will dictate what kind of choice of your final project will be. Right? We went through all that before, I'll go through that again. But if you read the course outline, the final project for 30% is where you select an arranged or scored piece of music, original, adaptation, but it has to be 4 pan, tenor, double second, guitar, cello, bass, or less or more, whatever we could do. And you prepare that and you present that, yes, at the end. Don't worry about the length, because you won't be able to do all of it. You're only getting 15 minutes to rehearse the band through a first rehearsal of the piece. Some people in the past went through in 2 bars because it was so hard. Still got an A. Because it was so hard, but you have to figure out how you're going to approach it. If by the end of anyway, we'll get into that more. So let's get to whatever pan you wish to play. I have sticks here in a colorful bag. And I would like us to kind of decide on what will be your primary pan, and we'll have a secondary one as well. So Maya is on bass already, and Mary can be on bass. Guitar pan, Wesley is still on guitar, and Elijah, you wanted to change. No, stay on guitar? Yeah, cool. Good choice. And I want at least 3 tenors. Are we missing anybody? Who are we missing? We'll need to get some pan from inside there. Huh? Yeah. If you're comfortable double tenor.
I didn't play double pan, so I'm challenging myself. I can play everything else.
Fine.
And you said you have a whiteboard marker.
Yes.
John, you know double tenor, right? You know double tenor. Well, come back.
Come back.
Let's see, right?
So Mary is on bass. Maya is on bass. Zipporah is stepped on.
She's on tenor.
Huh?
She's on tenor.
She's on tenor? Really? Okay. Jawan, you on double second or tenor?
Well, tenor. No, sing a tenor.
No, I'm going to put you tenor or double second, right? Zipporah plays double second as well, not so?
Yeah.
So I'm going to put tenor or double second. Emmanuel Joseph is supposed to be here, but he
That's
isn't.
E.
Phoebe, you play double second. Favor, you on tenor. Now, last week, your initial column for pants. This time I tightened out. The first week, we had 2 people alone absent. Well, actually 3 because Naja's name is not there. N-A-K-K, right?
That's G sharp, right? That's G sharp, right? G. G sharp. That's G.
Okay. front of your pants.
That is definitely not enough. All F2
Joseph is signed up for this class.
So what page?
Find 1-1. I'm not sure what page number it is. So hustling for me to get that. What will be chapter 1? Specifically. Page 4. Who didn't sign yet? All right. That's me. This is Jisha. This is A. Because it has its own particular. That's over there. He's right here. Good. And C is right there. C sharp. E flat is here. You have everything there? Yep. Yes. Anybody else? Right. So, wow. You just switch. Okay, page 4. The lowest bass staff is for the bass. Bass. Next bass staff up is for the guitar. Double seconds, double tenors for the first. The next treble staff up, and the top treble staff is the tenor. So we went through this last week and we reviewed it. So Jawana tried it. Who wants to go next? Phoebe. Since my eye rested on you. We'll go male, female, male, female. Just to be gender. Okay, first thing up how it goes like this, your stick should be ready to play the first. Okay? If you don't see that happen, you have to drop your hands and then call the attention of the delinquent. This exercise doesn't have any big physiognomy challenge. It's really just about getting through this detail of prep with the breath, downbeat, and release. Anytime, just that. Okay, so a couple of very good things happened there. She was taking a lot of space between the notes because that's what we have to do in this exercise. Because the challenge is we have a waiting however long, and then we get them to play the next note by a clean prep. So it shouldn't be a steady beat. Every fermata should be a different length. Not necessarily, different, right? Not a steady tempo. So I'm going to make some comments, and she will try to adjust and improve. And then the next time around, with somebody else, you will be the one to notice what you think needs improvement and so on. That way I kind of get an idea of if you understand this. So we went through this with Jawan just at the end last time. But your speed of coming down is slower than the speed of going up. So it's like you have a solid object throwing it up in the air and it comes right back down. It doesn't defy gravity and pause and then slow down like that. It doesn't change weight or mass. And this is a really good way to predict where you're going to end up. So wherever you start with the wrist flip, you should come right back down to that same, and almost like a mirror of the up motion. So you're not going to do this. Right? Somebody will play through you. Have to practice this. Feel that natural gravity force or speed coming down. Okay? You have to let your hand do what would normally happen if it was just thrown up and going back down. That's one thing. Your wrist flick is not quite what we want yet because you're doing this, pushing forward instead of staying right here and going up. With that impetus from the wrist flick in the upper arm going up. You can sometimes you're doing a prep for that. So you have a double prep. You're prepping the prep. So we don't want that either. Oh, another thing, the release should be a nice loop. Right? Yes, you can have different shapes and all that, and you didn't do the some top, right? Sometimes your release was a little too flat, like this. And then your release should be in the same arc or where they rebounded. So you want to come back to the same level. You're not going to cut people off without reaching back there. The idea is, if you set up this from the beginning, you're supposed to be able to predict everybody where the next beat is going to end or start, and then where your release is going to doesn't have to be that big, but in the same general area. Not above, not flat. That's a number of things. Everything else will do. Let's try it one more time, and we'll see which one of those get better. Pick one or two, whatever, and see. Push this way, go straight up, up and down. I think I was there.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so but some good things happening there that you were doing correct from the beginning is that you had a nice feel of the space in which to conduct. It wasn't too far forward or back. You had a nice idea of that space. So generally thing to do, let's just do this. You have your hands on the side. You're going to lift it up to conduct. And then you're going to practice going up a little too high, coming down, and you're going to get a nice little swinging. Somewhere in this area is the best place. However, if the stand is too high, or your stands are high, it will block that. So the people behind there, Elijah, may not be seeing where my hand is now. Are you seeing it? Yes. Yeah? Okay. Well, if it's too low, you have to raise it up high. But the best place, and you'll see in the symphony orchestra, this platform is way tall. So they are towering over the heads of all these people down there. Right now we don't have that advantage. So you have to watch that. You'll find with that height. And she was doing this a little too much. It was better than a lot of, maybe in all the areas where it was a little better. They were a little better, but it still tend to go forward this way. I'm going to go straight up. So practice going up only. Right? And another thing that I didn't mention before is that the shape of her hand was on, she put her thumb on the middle finger. No big deal really, because you're not going to have to worry to do that anyway. But generally, I want you to practice putting your finger, thumb and index finger together. That's where your baton is going to be. Little word about the baton. I called around. Music House has about 5 batons, each one $125. I ordered batons. When I worked it out with the exchange rate and so on, it's just under $60 each. So I have that here for you. Unless you have a baton already, you don't need to take one. Everybody has to learn to conduct a little bit now. And the books cost a little under $55 each to copy and bind. So roughly that's $150 and normally go up to $120. So you will get your books and batons today, and you pay me within a couple of weeks to do one then, or whatever, right? But I need to get paid. What's nice about the baton this year, something from last year, was that some people's batons broke. So I try to make sure I'm getting one with pieces. Now I want you to take it out, and we're going to do a little baton technique to that same exercise.
So that's
have to go back behind the pan now?
Huh?
I have to go back behind the pan
No,
now?
no, you're not done yet. And you're gonna hold it back to a 3 minutes. From the next 3 minutes. How many people left? Yeah, that's all I'm going to do. We're going through that now. Okay. So, you don't want to hold the baton between the thumb and third finger. You're going to get the shaft of your thumb and index finger wrapped around the shaft. If your hand is a lot bigger than mine, you might see that you're putting the ball or the handle, the end of the handle of the baton in the palm of the hand. And then rest your hand on it. So for me, it means I could bring it out a little bit, I guess. I kind of like to hold it just after the handle, thumb and index finger. Imagine you're playing pan like this, or, and then you turn with your palm facing down, or if you're playing percussion, you already have it. It feels a little restrictive. You could kind of go in between those arms, right? You'll find your special spot. Try to avoid the other 3 fingers sticking up in the air like butterfly wings or whirling. So you will see real professional conductors doing this kind of thing. Right? It's a little distracting. You're going to try to curl just like how you have your fingers around. So you're going to do the same thing, exercise 1-1, and if you get the wrist flip right, and you do it from your shoulder, this is how it will look. You can pass it and make it classic, but if you practice that with the wrist flip, it kind of lifts off, and there's just a little wobble at the tip of the baton. Good? Alright, practice that wrist flip. See how it whips out the tip. And you don't have to be so hard with the snap and the forehand. So just this gives you quite a bit of a bend there. So you're trying to minimize actually how much the tip of the baton flaps. Yeah. 125, sorry, 120 is the chords for the book. So that's the 60 and 60, right? If you pay for one alone, you only have to pay the 60, right? But I assume nobody else has a baton at home, so there's no ID, right? So that means you have one thing, right? You don't have a book, sure. Right. So, same exercise, and let's see how you do. 1-1. It's putting it outside the base now. kind of just a slight pointing upwards. So you want it to point slightly down. And that you just have to adjust your grip. So instead of it going like this, you're going like this. It's just a grip adjustment. So it should be a little bit under the level. One more time. I want you to concentrate on the up-down motion being very predictable, no holding back. Alright, let's take somebody else. We had Jawan, we had Phoebe, now another mayor, Elijah.
So I have a question.
Yes.
The breath is not as important.
It should be. I forgot to mention that.
So is it important? Is it something I will have to do when we practice?
Yeah.
Okay, let's make it sure.
Yes. It should be.
It's children.
Yes. You have to. Now, 1, 2 is the same exercise as 1, 1. We're not going to spend time tonight going through 1, 2. It's a choice. Slightly different chord, same exercise. You look at it. 1, 2 is cut time. We have minutes, strut, downbeat, pause. Same thing. Got a few couple bars less. Let's try 1, 1 again.
Let's begin this. We're doing 1, 2.
1, 1. I was just saying, next week we'll read through 1, 2. You want to spend time with that. Now your third, fourth, and fifth fingers are going this way. I want them to be a little more curled around. Not so much. Relax. Not too much. Yeah, that's better. 7 bars. You don't even have to look at the score. 7 bars. 7 times up and down. 9. Next one is 7 bars. I will check your extra that you don't have to do it. Go ahead. Just kidding. No, some people do have a lot of difficulty with being in front of you. We have different kinds of reactions, right? And that whole thing about being on that side is a whole experience. You have to get into this psychology, okay? So you really have to practice and imagine yourself doing this thing. Everybody watching you and spending on you. Go ahead. So who can give me one little detail he has said to?
Come on.
Yeah. And then making sure we're ready, because I was not ready.
So tempo shouldn't be a problem, except what do you mean by tempo?
Was not really tempo. The way how he does his 1 and 2s now, kind of in a sense.
Is that what you
Like
meant?
No,
anticipating note.
I meant something
You
else.
meant something else?
I meant,
But yes.
yeah, I meant like from note to note, making sure that
too long. So it was actually, so all those things apply. Right? We don't want to do it. But this is just from you're listening and you know the stuff. You have to focus as you go. Somebody does an exercise, paying attention to the discussion after. It's not all you play and then you stop concentrating on the class. You have to concentrate all the time. Right? You're going to get tired by the time you finish. Thinking, paying attention. So you have to concentrate. Everybody has to concentrate all the time. Don't let me have to keep saying, pay attention. This is the last time, right? Somebody do a little thing, I started the coach, you listening. Ask a question, I want answers. I don't want talking side by side and stuff like that. Alright? Yeah? Now, Myers point. Tick, tock, tick, tock, tick. How many beats? Too long. So you one tick, release. Right? Let's see if we can fix that one. And then, one thing I wanted to also try to, so many things is hard to think about all of that. But you're doing a separate prep to the prep. You're going out to the side before the prep. Okay. It should be only straight up. You have to practice going up. You have to restrain the hand from going sideways. Clean. Alright? So try to fix those two things. And in between, don't go so fast. You've got time. That's what it is. Cut, wait, and then you ready, and go again. It's not to be conducted in one steady. Okay, alright. Finish. Relax. Now, his baton is pointing too far. Go up a little bit more. So it looks a little deflated. Alright? A little bit more. Relax, relax, relax. So, and then, it was better in terms of the one beat, but sometimes that beat was faster than other times. So you have to keep a steady pulse, pause, but you have to come back in the same pulse. You have to be aware of that pulse. You able to switch it on and off, or count the pulse in the rest. So tick, tock, tick, tock, tick, tock, tick, tock. If you're not sure about keeping the beat. But hopefully, you could just go tick, tock, pause, stop counting, and then come back in the same tempo. Tick, tock, pause. See? Okay, see if you can fix that. Is it okay if I do slow? Yeah. Comfortable with the grip, I see. Alright. There. Relax. Now, moving a little too up. Relax this. Go up like that. Is it? You have to know, right? Okay, you have a lot to think about. Whoa. So there are a couple other things that he's doing that I didn't have to talk about before. You're kind of looking like this. Yeah, rigid, and that means that you're stretched out there a little too much off balance. Look almost like if you're trying to ride a horse for the first time. That kind of thing. So you have to, and how you position your legs and so on. So you need to bring in your elbow a little bit in there, not too much. Try to find that comfortable range of movement. So you're not out here, but somewhere inside. Okay? I want to move on, but I want you all to practice that because while it might seem simple enough, it's all about being very clear and precise. So that's the first challenge. Okay? Let's look at 2-5. Thank you. 2-5. I'll give you a few minutes to learn the music. I'm not sure what page that is. If you want to get playing on music, yeah, so it's page 6, right? 2-5. Double seconds, or double tenors, you all have a solo. 8-bar. 2-1. 2 shots. 2-1 on page 6. Oh, it used to be 2-5. One time it was 2-5. Now it's 2-1. Might be a change. You have some company there. Let's go through the notes. Double seconds, double ten. I want you to be ready now. First 8 bars. Tenors, 3 bars before the end. One of you will have to play D, E, C. One of you will have to play G, A.
Which one you want to play? The bottom one?
Okay, so I'm kind of going to go through this much like how I want you to follow certain general guidelines when you're doing your final project reviews. This is the first time you're singing music, just like what you'll be presenting. You choose a piece of music, and in the last 2 weeks, you will have to rehearse the group through the first playing or the first reading of it. So notice tenors in bar 9. You have from bar 9, I should say, to the end, you have the same melody as the double seconds, double back, double seconds, double seconds, just not up too high. Alright? So what I want you to do now, you on the double bands, is play this together. 3 bars before the end, you have to split. Right? The tenors. So we're going to go through just double seconds, double tenor, and tenors. And I won't be conducting it, I'm just listening for correction. In the meantime, bass, guitar, you all keep learning your parts quietly. Right? Use your fingers rather than sticks. So tenor starting from bar 9, double second starting from bar 1. Understand? That tempo. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yes, you're not going further double second. Ending on the C in bar 8. Right? One of you playing G8? I didn't hear. Okay, fine. So that's how that part goes. Double seconds, you continue with the trip. F, E, C, E, D, E. Then you're playing a harmony part, but you also have some extra notes in there. So take a little while and learn your part, the rest of it. Tenors, you good. Let's see how the bass and guitar playing their part. From the beginning, it's starting, both of you start in G. Couldn't do anything, you know. Alright, here we go. Bass and guitar with me. Right, you won't get stumped, don't worry. Ready? From G. Pick up to bar 9. That's what you say. That's before beat of bar 8 is the G. So after 3, you begin. 1, 2, 3. Bass came a little early there. The guitar have C, G, C, and then the bass has the next C. Alright, watch out for that. Again, same place, guitar and bass. 1, 2, 3.
No, I'll just talk about it. Rather than using all of it, you can use a double second and then play the double parts. Yeah, but you gotta change this.
Take a little while and work it out some more.
I'm
That's
listening.
how it
And then
starts.
you can learn this part.
Easy or
Yeah.
again, I hope.
I don't play either one.
You don't play either one.
I don't play anything else. I don't play
That's good to learn a new instrument.
Right.
Alright, let me hear the double second, the double tenor play from bar 8. Okay? The rest be really quiet while you learn the parts. Double seconds, double tenor from bar 8. C, F, E, C, E, D, E. Alright? There we go. 1 after 4. 2, 3, 4. Okay, pause. That's a smaller A, not a low A, right? Okay.
The notes on this one, not where I'm accustomed to them being.
Okay, need a marker or anything, or you just have to get
So nobody notes on you, it's just like pass it to
Shit. Alright. Again, double pants. Same thing. After 4. Ready? 2, 3, 4. Good. All right. Tenors, double tenor, double second. Coming to the guitars and bass. Guitars are sometimes still a little bit. Double seconds this time, starting from bar 1. Tenors, you waiting to come in bar 8. Okay? I'll cue you in. There we go. Double seconds, ready? 1, 2, 3, double tenor. From bar 1. Bar 1. Ready? Get ready, tenors. After 1, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, pa 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 pa. Quieter now. Okay, I just would like the tenors to play a little louder. Okay, let's try the basses, guitars from pickup to bar 9. G. Okay, both playing G, all playing guitars, bass. Ready? After three. 1, 2, 3. Bass came in early there. Bass has to come in on beat 4. Let's try it again. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4. This is my imagination or still came in on beat 3. Coming around. Is it good? Okay, here we go again. Bass and guitar, ready? 1, 2, 3. Got them, Maya? Alright, everybody. Right, the more we play it, the more we'll get it correct. So now that everything is kind of ready to be conducted, you don't have to worry to look up here at all too much. Except to start together. But I will try to indicate something. So if you can, and you have the wherewithal to look up here, great. But if you're still struggling to just find the notes and so on, because familiarity with the time and so on, just keep playing your part, keep the time. I'll count aloud if it's necessary at some time. And if we have to stop, we'll stop. Try to keep going. Here we go. Double seconds, we should start. 2, 3, 4. 7 is a pianissimo, subito pianissimo. What I'm going to do is, right here all the time, and then right for that part, I'm going to prepare it, but change the level coming up here. Watch it again. 1, the bar before, 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's prepare to change. You get pianissimo, call it half volume or whatever, or sotto voce, noticeably quieter, and then the tenors come in. Tenors, we're going to try to keep a little accent where the second half and the second to last bar. Everybody Everybody, second to last bar, suddenly pianissimo. Okay? Let's see if we get a really cool effect. Tenors, play out, don't be bashful at all. Alright? Right now, when you're coming, only two of you play the melody against all of them. So you can play out. Alright? When you come in, it's the whole band playing. So even if it's like the piano, it's a full piano. Tutti piano. Okay? From the beginning, but the second is the start. Without a count. Just a prep. Accent. Don't rush the accent. Accent. Watch out for the pianissimo. Oh, that was too loud. That was too loud. That was too loud. Yeah, we could fix that. Bar before. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Bar 6. D, E, C. Ready? 3, 4. D, E, C. Half point. That's it. Oh, tenors, take it away. Oh, sorry. I cued you in late. Alright, let's try it again from bar 6. Other seconds. Piano. Don't get too soft right now because you have to get softer in bar 7. Ready? 2, 3, 4. That's it. Tenors coming. 2, 3. Get louder. No. Okay, not bad at all. Who wants to try that? We have, who wants to think what's Naja? Female now. Naja? Talk. Bring your books. So there are lots of things that you should remember. So right now, just make sure you keep a nice steady beat. Make sure you cue maybe depending on you, I think to be sure when to come in here. Cues are really important in the beginning. You could work on expression and changes and accents afterwards. So you want to make sure you get this cue here, this cue here. And watch out, the basses sometimes come out really in this. So listen out. What do you, yo, because we have to get moving along. We have to move along, or else we get stuck at that. That has happened in the past. We suffer later. Alright, so first thing is, who's starting? Double band. So you have to get their attention, make sure they're ready. Of course, everybody is waiting in the wings. And then you make sure you get their attention, you focus on them, give them a nice clean prep, boom, and then you can kind of follow where you go. Go brave. More mistakes you make, the more you have to fix.
Thank you so much.
4 beats here and then cut. Yes. Now I want you to get used to this. Like a fermata kind of feeling. When you get to that downbeat, you're going to go and then you just go to travel. You counting the beats in the head and then you keep it. That would be easier that way. Some really nice things happening in that you have a very fluid right hand action, rhythmic movement, right? You're not seeing any boring kind of flow. It has a nice flow to it, but it's all the same. However, you feel a little stress on the first beat of the bars. I saw that very, very subtly, and that's fine because in this actual symphony, it is the French horns I think play this. So think about when controlling this beginning of a symphony. Right? And so that was pretty good. Your cues, the important cues in bars 8 and 9, you have to get accustomed to. So let's practice that cue. I'll do it with her, you looking on, and in your mind practicing the motion of the it. We're going to go from bar 8 to 7, 8, 9, 10. Bar 7, that's the pianissimo bar. So we're not going with the pianissimo bar so far. We're looking at the cue in bar 8. Ready, 2, 3, bar 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, and then you see that? You cued that, but you actually cued to beat 1 of the next bar, but the cue is here on beat 4. So it's a quick cue. After 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2.
I don't have to key 4 on guitar.
Yeah, I'm starting here.
Okay.
Right. Starting in the pianissimo bar. 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. Tenors and bass. Bass coming into the guitar. So you just have one beat free in between. So keep neutral. The others are very actively doing something. You're anticipating the entrance on beat 2 for the tenors. You have one beat and then you're anticipating the entrance on beat 4 for the bass and guitar. So from bar 7 again, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, prep, 2, prep, 4. So 1 is the prep for 2, 3 is the prep for 4. Let's take it from bar 7 itself. The second we have pianissimo. You could count them in for now. You don't have to, but you could. 1, 2, 3, 4. Just because we're rehearsing still. Right? From bar 7. Double second. Again. Right, so it's 1, 2, prep, 4. style. The style of the piece is a nice kind of introductory kind of prelude thing. And there you are. Just choke me, right? You're going to put here, release, and end with a nice, elegant, quiet gesture. All the way through, from the top. Try to reinforce the accents while you might do it with the right hand alone. Give a little snappier prep for each accent in the left hand. For the first beat, nice, definite, almost as if you're picking up something and putting it there. From the top. The second, okay. Let's do that release. You're going to go 4, 2, 3, prep it on 4 to go 1. That will be a nice 4-beat cut off. Let's do it together. Ready? And 2, 3, 4. Right? Everybody play the last note. Follow her. Ready? We want to see a start of the release. Again, if we could get the wrist straight, that would be nice. So this motion gives a definition to the start and stop of the piece. And again, just the last note. Better, but you did a slightly different thing, which is feasible, I guess. You kind of point it into the center. When you really trying to get you to just perfect the loopy release, and it snips off from where you start, and you come back to that circle, the end of that circle, that's your cutoff. So tick, tock, tick, tock. Goes back to the beginning exercise. Prep beat, down, release. One more time, that's all the way through. Many things to remember. Kind of miss the cue of release. Prep 2, prep 4. You practice it, right? Practice it. Next week will be better. Good. Then we'll have only time for one more person to come up this way. See you in the night. Okay, now when you're rehearsing the group, it's really good to give them encouragement, positive reinforcement, and so on. So I can definitely give you some positives here. Tenors, really nicely. base is more solid, most of it, or just the end up a little lost that time. The whole ensemble is coming together very nice. Where's Lee? Same exercise. This is the last one for the night. You may not be able to look up and observe, but if you do notice anything that we talked about that needs to improve, I'll ask you. Okay? So if you can't spare an eye up there, but talking about that a little bit, go ahead, Dr. When you are reading, if you could keep the person in front of the peripheral vision, so you're looking at the music but you're seeing the hand movement there. You have to train yourself to do that. It really helps. Otherwise, you have to, when you know the music better, you can actually take your eye off the score and look at it. In the meantime, if you could see that movement there, it's a really important skill to develop if they are really good. Okay, all the way through. Another second, make sure you get their attention. Glad we saw that. So let's just adjust the grip. Come down, drop. Right? Not too low because it has to be higher than the stand. But adjust your grip so that it's pointing more almost level. You just have to adjust the grip here. It's not about shifting your wrist. Just where you're holding. Okay? Too high. This is what you're doing. Change it. Sorry? Alright. Okay, fine. It could be there, but I find your arm is up this way. Relax there. Can you see his hand? Is it too low? If it's too low and you can't see it, then he has to bring it up high. If not, you can see his hand? Right? Yes, sir. So that's one thing. You didn't indicate any accents, and you want to change levels when you go to the pianissimo, and then you have to prep 2, prep 4 for the entrance here. Okay? And then you get here, and then when you get to the end, you're going to go 1, travel, and then release. So you didn't travel. Traveling is what you do because you see sound is happening. And for every sound there's a gesture, another gesture. So if you play and sound is traveling through the air and you just going like this, there's something that doesn't add up, doesn't line up. But once the sound is active, then your hand should be active. That's the principle. Okay? And then release. One more time. All we have time. One more. All the way. relax everything else. Don't worry to turn now, just where you hold it. Right, you'll find it. That's fine. That's much better. Right. Wait. Drop your four. Four. Yeah.
I got it.
Bato suddenly point up. Get it right. That's good. Okay, so what happened there is what you need a more definite attack. So you want to see a stop and a clear stop. Tick, stop. Like if you're hitting a nail in a hammer with a nail. Bang, bang. Not too harsh, but definite. See, because percussion is as you are. Want to know when to hit, when to sound that drum. You have to see that. Okay? Don't be done guessing. So then exactly where you want. Better. There's so energetic stuff. You just doing this. Either. Still have to get the accuracy, but that's a challenge. How do we get the accuracy? Still require a car. That's where this restricting solves the problem. Get that very small move. But the baton amplifies the movement. That's the usefulness of the baton. And again, require to do shape small. Baton down. You have to realize that the baton is pointing to them. Don't let the baton point up in the air. Nobody's up there to play your music. Try it out. Point to them. Pointers are on. That's where the baton is pointed to. People. Page 15. Every page, I don't think every page has there's some pages that have some diagrams and so on to illustrate different points. But you are going to try to be prepared to use it up to page 15 for next time. Okay? That's it for tonight, folks. We have to pack the fans back before we go. As soon as you can, please pay me for the somebody paid me already. That's great. Next week or the month end is fine with me. Oh, the place is fine.
I will try.
Sorry?
I will try. Where should I put these?
Oh, in the no, there's a colorful bag over there. That's where the bag of 6. And let's for now, until otherwise advised, we have a meeting with right now. Just push the stand back towards the orchestra, and not too crowded at the corner there. And then they want you to look at the door. Sure. This is our fee. Have exact? Oh, good. I will record it. CD and one. Okay, bye. Thank you. And last year, I cut down the amount of pages in the handbook because price of photocopy went up so much. Last year the price was 120 and I was able to keep it there again. I got a good price on the